Did you know that women are veterans too? For example, when you park at Lowe's by the sign that says veterans only, and you get out and two or three guys come running over and tell you that it's not for you, it's for your husband. By the way, my husband was not in the military. He is a civilian.
I thought that this video was a good opportunity to just reflect on not just how many women are serving in the United States military, but also just how, biases get formed in our minds, but how that's really not the end of the world if we just take our time and maybe have a little bit more consideration with people that we run into in the streets or on a daily basis.
USMC retired on my t-shirt that I wear sometimes. And this is the question I get. Oh, was your husband a Marine? One of my favorites, just recently, I got a telephone call from the VA. I was scheduled for surgery in 2 days, and so they were calling to, discuss that with me. And the nurse that called asked to speak with Mr. Hayes. And I said, well, this is Mrs. Hayes. Can I help you? And she said, I want to speak with Mr. Hayes. And she was kind of snarky about it. And I said, well, would you like to speak with Mr. Hayes or the veteran? Dead silence. And then I told her, women are veterans too.
So currently there's roughly 1.4 million active members in the U.S. military. And as we know, the United States military is a voluntary force. It's not something that we have to be a part of unless there's a draft or anything like that, which, is not a common occurrence. And so of that 1.4 million, about 14.4% of active members are women. So that's about 200,000 people. And we know that whether, in the United States military, if you're, there to fight and serve, there's also a plethora of career opportunities that come from joining the military. As the military has access to some of the best technology and resources on planet Earth. A lot of people are breaking their careers and gaining much of their most valuable life skills from being active members of the military. So, it's just definitely interesting to think about how many current active members in the armed forces are women.
So I'm standing in line at the base exchange, or the PX as we call it, and this old retired dude was standing in front of me, and he turned around and saw me standing there in my camouflage and with my eagles on my collar, and he said, what do you do in the Marine Corps? And I said, well, I'm the G1 of the 2nd Marine Division. And he goes, oh, hell no. Women are not in the division. I'm like, well, I guess so. And he goes, honey, do you even know which side of the gun the bullet comes out of? I didn't have to hurt him because my son was there and took up for me.
Now let's talk a little game. Let's talk social skills. Let's talk people skills. Now, I can't fully fault you or blame you if you have a bias or, maybe even a prejudice for certain things. And the reason I say that is because we're all human beings, meaning we all have opportunities to improve, to learn, to grow, right? And a lot of what that means is that you just take your time a little bit, So if you, for instance, for her example, she could be in a parking lot and people may assume that she has on an Army veteran shirt that, oh, that must be her husband's. Maybe you can just, ask her about her service. And then if she corrects you, oh, this is from my husband, just start there. And especially, the woman that was on the phone with her, she was all snarky and like, put your husband on the phone. Just slow down a little bit, because oftentimes you may, cause a bad interaction and really paint yourself in a certain light when all you had to do was just slow down a little bit, think before you speak and, have a little game.
I drink a lot of coffee. This is my coffee mug. And just to remind everyone, not all GIs are Joes.
I also wanted to point out the fact that, given the fact that the United States military is a voluntary force, it's just ironic when a lot of people have the attitudes that women shouldn't serve in the military. That kind of is a reflection that they don't know how vast and how much expansive the military is in terms of opportunities that, are in the military. But that, women just shouldn't serve, or trans people shouldn't serve, or homosexuals shouldn't serve. And it's like, well, are those people serving? No, most of the people who are saying that aren't serving. Because we have a voluntary force. So it's like, oh, so your attitude is that all these people who want to, fight, serve, and give to this country in a way that they don't have to, oh, we should just ban them from it. No. Let's definitely celebrate women in the military. Let's celebrate everybody in the military, and let's push to make our defense system more just and more about defense, at the end of the day, because The men and women who fight and die for this country oftentimes are used and manipulated to fight really for corporate interest. So we have to do better for people in the military, and we have to do better, especially for our veterans, to take better care of them when they come back home and when their service comes to an end.